Very good evening, everybody. There's a recent topic that's going on in the country. I know you must have at least listened about it. Maybe you've read about it. Maybe you guys know it. What am I talking about? But even if you don't, no worries. Let's just get into the video and let's just understand what am I talking about. So basically, I'm talking about VBG Ramji. That is, sorry, just a sec. Yeah, VBG Ramji. That is Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Grameen. So basically, it is for the employment purpose, for the employment purpose. Okay, it is basically for the employment purpose. And Grameen, what does that mean? That means rural. Okay, is a landmark rural employment and livelihood scheme. Now, till here, you can just read it, you'll understand it. But the main point is that it replaced Manrega. Manrega, which was already going on in a country, has been what? It has been stopped and it has been replaced by VBG Ramji. So, VBG Ramji replaced whom? Manrega on July 1, 2026. So basically there were already the debates going on in the country for like few months, but finally now it has been implemented, and it has been implemented when? On July 1, 2026. Okay. Now, this is all that we this is all what we wanted to know about the full form of the topic that we were reading. Now, next comes that it guarantees what? It guarantees 125 days of wage employment per household. It guarantees 125 of wage employment per household up from 100 days. 100 to 125 days. It guarantees 125 days of wage employment per household, sets a statutory minimum base wage of 300 rupees per day. So basically it says that if you're getting employed under VBG Ramji, you will be having rupees 300 per day, and it includes provisions for an unemployment allowance if work is not provided. It also includes what? Provisions for an unemployment allowance if the work is not being provided. Now, next is VBG Ramji scheme significantly overhauls rural social security in India. Key features and updates include basically what it says. Now, let's come to the wage rate. Okay. So, already we've done that the wage rate is rupees 300 per day. So, the government established a national floor wage of what? 300 rupees per day. For states where existing wages were lower, this represents a major hike. So this is a positive thing that our government has done, which is that it has set a floor wage rate that is rupees 300 per day, because there were states that were having the wage rate lower, but now it is all the national floor wage, not the state. It is not set state wise, it is set nationally. So every state has to implement it, while high wage states have smaller increases, while the states which were already giving the higher wages, they have a little increase because they were already giving the 300 plus or maybe 300 rupees per day wage rate. So they do not have a extremely increasing you know what do we call that, they do not have an increasing graph, like not a very major increasing graph. But of course the small, like the other states whose wage rate was lower, they do have a major hike. Next comes, let's just get into the next point, that is implementation and funding. The Union Minister of the Rural Development released an interim installment of how much? Rupees 25,863 crore to all states and union territories to prevent wage payment delays and secure immediate rollout. State manage matching shares operating mostly on 60-40 center state funding pattern. So what does it say is that, firstly it's telling that government has actually made sure that they the implementation of this scheme should not have any barriers or constraint in front of it. So what they have done is they have already, like who, the Union Minister of Rural Development has already installed 25,863 crore rupees to all states and union territories in total. Okay, why? To prevent the wage payment delays for the people who will work under VBG Ramji. And state manage matching, what are the shares that are that center states are sharing? They are 60-40. Of course 60 is for the center and 40 is for the states. Funding pattern. Next is asset creation and planning. Employment under the scheme is linked to durable rural infrastructure. Employment under the scheme is linked to durable rural infrastructure, water security and climate resilience. Planning is decentralized via Viksit Gram Panchayat plans and a nationally integrated technical stack. Next point is modernized governance. The scheme features a modernized digital ecosystem including GPS, mobile worksite monitoring, biometric authentication, and the use of AI for planning transparency. So modernized governance, what does that mean? Basically we have been reading, like you guys might have come across, if you are having the classes of daily current affairs, or maybe you're in touch with the current affairs weekly or monthly, there is a topic still going on which I'll make a video, like the next video I'll be making on that topic, that is AI governance. Okay, so this is a small glimpse of what the country is going through. So they have also included modernized governance, which means the scheme features a modernized digital ecosystem including GPS, mobile working site monitoring. So basically just to avoid just to avoid the what can I call that, like just to avoid the faults in the the sites that are being registered with VBG Ramji. like कई बार क्या होता है that आप शो करते हो गवर्नमेंट को इन पेपर्स दैट this is the site we are working in, and there are say 50 people working, but maybe हमें ज़रूरत हो सिर्फ 10 लोगों की, और not 10 but maybe 40 लोगों की ज़रूरत हो, तो 10 एक्स्ट्रा पे कर रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट को. या कई बार ऐसा होता है दैट you are seeing that okay the person is coming, वो शो कर रहा है that the person is coming to the site daily for the work, but हो सकता है that sometimes वो ना आ रहा हो काम पर. But how will the government look? Because government cannot keep an eye physically every time being on the site. So this time what they have made sure, for the biometric authentication, this will help government to know how many people are coming and how many people are just registered there to work on a site? No extra person, no extra the income will be given because you're not registered. Okay, and the use of AI for planning and transparency, and of course AI will be used for planning of the sites, or maybe the working places where people are working, they might get help of AI for better the better ideas of how the things should be implemented. Okay, I hope you guys are getting what am I saying. Now, implementation and funding we've done, asset creation we have done, modernized governance we've done. Next comes registration. Now this is very important. See guys, governments every year, okay, I must say every year, governments बहुत सारी schemes लेकर आती है. Okay, for the rural people, they bring a lot of schemes for the rural people. They make sure that everybody out there gets work. They're working for the employment and all, but the people they are bringing the schemes for are actually uneducated. They do not know that how are these schemes being utilized. How do I even utilize that scheme? So what happens is that they have told you that how to register, open to all adult members. Okay, so now you don't have to worry ki, oh my god, for whom the scheme is, for whom this scheme will be, am I eligible to apply on this scheme? So they say that it is open to all adult members, that's above 18, okay, of rural households willing to do unskilled manual work. And anybody who is willing to do unskilled manual work is eligible to apply on this scheme. Eligible workers can register using details like Aadhaar card. So person, like I am going to come upon the topic citizenship as well. Okay, this is also a hot topic going on in the country. But before this, Aadhaar card is important document that would help you get registered for this scheme. Then the bank account, you can register details like their Aadhaar card, bank account, and proof of residence. Of course you will have to give a proof of the residence, the place you're living in. Okay, for the localized details on the specific wage rate in your district or to register your household, you can consult the official VBG Ramji Yojana and review the benefits of. Okay, so yeah, they have also given you saying, like they have given you a brief on saying that if you want to apply it localized, you need to visit your for the to know more about the specific wage rate of your local area, you need to consult the official of VBG Ramji Yojana and review the benefits of VBG Ramji schemes guidelines. Okay, now guys, we read what VBG Ramji is. Now let's just get into this topic, which is like I've told you earlier that VB sorry, just a sec. Okay, I've told you earlier that VBG Ramji scheme has replaced Manrega. Okay, so let's just firstly get into the thing that what Manrega actually is. So firstly iska feature employment guarantee पढ़ते हैं. In Manrega you were guaranteed 100 days of wage employment per household per year. Okay, but in VBG Ramji 125 days of wage employment per household per year. Now funding split, 100% of the unskilled wages paid by the center. States bore only 10% of material cost in Manrega. So this was a burden somewhat on center. This was a burden on center. Shared burden. Now, this was a burden, but in BBG Ramji, there's a shared burden, which we already know that 60 to 40%, like the 60-40 ratio, that is now being prevailed. 60 is for the center and 40 is for the states. And 90-10, like 90-10 for Himalayan and northeastern states. Now, the nature of work. This is very important. You need to understand this as well, this topic. Nature of work. See, in Manrega, what used to happen is that it was demand driven. That you go to the government, okay, you say that I need work. Okay, I need work. Government says, okay, if we even do not have work, we'll create one and give you work because you have registered under what? Manrega. But this is not the case in this is not the case in what? This is not the case in what do we call this? VBG Ramji. Okay, why? Because it is a supply driven approach. Like a scheme is supply driven. If you go to the government and if you say that, you know what, I have registered under what do we call that, VBG Ramji, and you need to give me work, but the government will say that yes, we will give you work, but only if it's available. We are not going to give you work, or we will not curate a new work to just give you the employment. Okay, now the next point is you need to read about it more because it's important. I will again explain it. You please comment. I will tell you what it is and what it is not. Again explain you the same thing. Now the next thing is agricultural protection. Work available year round. Manrega says that work available year round. But VBG Ramji states that states notify up to 60 days of pause during peak sowing, harvesting to ensure agricultural labor availability. Got it? Next is planning and execution. Gram Panchayat identifies projects, plans ratified by Gram Sabha. So, in Manrega, what it used to happen that Gram Panchayat used to identify the projects and plans ratified by the Gram Sabha. But in VBG Ramji, works originate from Viksit Gram Panchayat plans and integrate with the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan. So you need to read about the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan as well. Okay. Now next is governance and technology, which is in Manrega, there was limited digital infrastructure, heavily dependent on the manual or the legacy software systems. Because it is an old scheme, so the technology would not be advanced. Okay. But in VBG Ramji, what we say is already we have read about it that the scheme features biometric authentication, AI enabled audits, and GPS tracking. Okay, so yes, we've done till here. Now see guys, whatever the government do, no matter what it is doing or whatever the schemes it brings out for the people of the country to help it in employment, health, or any of the aspects, it usually always have criticism. Okay, because there are people who feel that we are not being favored, this section of the society is not being favored, or the scheme would have been improved this way, and instead of doing this you would have done this. So let's just get into this, that what is a criticism of VBG Ramji. So while the government views the new legislation As a modernized productivity enhancing program, it has faced pushbacks from several state governments and economists. The primary concerns are fiscal burden on states. Shifting from 100 central funding to 60 central and 40 state split places a heavy financial liability on states, especially poorer ones with high demand. Now see guys, जो सेंटर है पहले वो मनरेगा में क्या दे रहा था? It was just giving 100% of the wage rate by themselves in like in Manrega. But now what they've done is, like, there is a shared burden, okay, which says 60-40. But now this 40 although seems less comparatively to the center, but you need to understand that there in India there are several states, okay. Some are poor, some are moderate, and some are rich. But the poorer ones, like the states poorer ones who have high demand of employment, high demand of employment, would face what? Would face burden, and they might not be able to fulfill the demands of the people in the state, okay. So first is this. Now second is delusion of rights. Critics argue that moving from a demand driven legally enforceable right to work to a state budget capped scheme makes employment less secure and subject to administrative discretion. As I told you, see, now what Manrega was demand driven. It was demand driven. But VBG Ramji is supply driven. That is, if the government has no work, people will have to seek other work, or maybe stay unemployed. Okay, so these two are the criticism that is being presented by the, of course, the state governments and the economists. And this completes our topic. This was my first video. I hope you guys like it. And even if you felt any shortcomings in the video, please do tell me. Please do comment. I will improve, because this is my first time, and I will make sure to improve my mistakes. Yeah, of course. And please tell me if you will need new topics, and I would make it for you as well. Thank you.